Hello and a big welcome to all of you joining us for the Chess 24 broadcast of the Tata Steel Chess Masters Tournament. Now, this very prestigious event is often called the Wimbledon of chess, and that is because we are in the 83rd edition of it. It is a traditional classical format, a time format that we don't see in any other tournament except the World Championship and the candidates. The players are going to be playing 40 moves in 100 minutes. So that's 1 hour and 40 minutes for the first 40 moves, 50 minutes for the next 20 moves, and finally 15 minutes for the remaining moves. And from move number 1, they get a 30-second increment. So that is as classical as it gets in today's world. And with all the rapid and blitz that we've been seeing, it's going to be very exciting to see how the players adapt to this classical format, which was not so difficult back in 2019, but 2020 was very different. And now the Tata Steel is hopefully setting the tone for the coming year with over-the-board events.
Quickly also jump to the game Hari Krishna versus Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, because we have been covering with Tanya all this rapid event, and we were so happy when we saw Maxime getting back to his Grünfeld and Najdorf, and here we go, we see a Najdorf now.
Yeah, Maxime had this brief period of flirting with other openings, but somehow the Slav and e4, e5 coming from him, it didn't feel real, and he's back.
Now, Peter, the position that we have in front of us. We've been talking about this game, Indian Grandmaster Hari Krishna Pentala against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Hari had managed to create pressure with the opposite color bishop. Before we went on the break, you mentioned that you pick white in this position. Does the evaluation still stand?
Yeah, it still stands. However, there is a dynamic change to the position, and usually, if I'm happy with the position, I don't want to let this dynamic change happen, because I feel that it might be in my opponent's interest. And I do feel that by training off the d6 pawn for the f5 pawn, we see this kind of change. On the other hand, now the position becomes much more concrete. In the game Hari Krishna Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, we reach this opposite colored bishop endgame. So Hari is still a pawn up, and still a very, very dangerous position from black, but black has some fortress here, yeah?
Should be a draw, no?
Yeah, looks like it should be a draw. King blocks, and then you block the other angle as well.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the game Hari Krishna versus Esipenko. We left that game saying that Esipenko has the 2 bishops, and perhaps that gives him an edge in the endgame. I see bishop b5 on the board. I feel that white can trade simply with knight b5, rook b5, make a move like f4, make sure that you don't get rook b2 in. Or is there a trick like bishop c5, rook b2 in that position?
Hari did take on b5, rook takes b5, and okay, one aspect to the position that, strangely enough, now the pawn on a3 protected by the bishop on f8 is not a weakness, it's a dangerous pawn, because black can get access to the a2 pawn, but white cannot really get access to the a3 pawn.
Hari Krishna versus Esipenko, that's still on. Hari played the committal f4, seemed to work fine, and what is going on here?
Well, actually black played a very nice move h5. Basically also agreeing that, yeah, all these tactics don't work. The pawn on a7 might be a weakness, also getting the pawn to h4. Basically because we see that how the game progresses. Rook a7 check, king g6, king h2. Against a king on h2, it's kind of very thematic in all these structures, to get your pawn to h4 to lock white's king down. However, now probably after h4, white will be in time to play g3, and that's why first black activates his rook so that he will be able to give a check. Hari plays rook a6, king f7, rook a7 check, and basically inviting a repetition of moves. And after king g6 now, it's Hari who is thinking, will he repeat for the 3rd time, or is it already, maybe it's already 3 times repetition, but also Esipenko did not claim the draw because he knows that I mean, the best white can do is to play rook a6. The game is agreed to a draw. Nobody has made any more moves. The arbiter probably came and we have peace. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think Esipienko waited for Hari to go and do anything. I think the scenario was, as you pointed out, that an arbiter came and then eventually noticed the threefold repetition. Probably both the players were just on the board. We will never know what really happened. But in any case, this has ended in a draw. And the other game, the only game remaining where there are some real chances, actually Magnus as well is on, in which he's made the move bishop to d1, I see, and not bishop b3.
All right, let's move on, continue our tour. Let's get to the tournament leader, Mr. Niels Grandelius. I was watching his interview yesterday. He seemed quite happy, said he did not expect to start with 2 out of 2. Who would have thought? But yeah, he won a nice game against Jan Krzysztof Duda. Now, what's going on? Some advanced French, or did they get this?
Yeah, but actually, how do you supposed to answer such question when they ask you, did you expect? Yeah, I remember his first interview after winning the first game. He was also saying that, okay, nothing changed after this win. He takes it game by game. And that's exactly the way how players have to take this tournament. You have to forget about what kind of score. Usually, if you are the favorite, you care about your score. But as a underdog like Niels, you have to enjoy the tournament. You have to make sure that you give your very best in each game, and then see where it will bring you. And if you start with wins, that's of course great bonus. But your main target should be always to focus and use all your energy for every game. We're gonna go step by step, but Niels is like, I mean, he already burned half an hour on his clock. It definitely shows that he was caught completely off guard by the French. And I believe he might be knight d2 French player. I think this is the point, that he usually plays the line knight d2, and he felt like, okay, here Hari is definitely prepared, and he's not entirely sure how well Hari is prepared in the French. And okay, playing knight c6 is maybe having 2 out of 2, it's asking too much if it's not your main preparation. So he goes for e5. And suddenly Hari showed confidence and blitzes out this line. And how do you exactly react to it?
That's my first question. Like bishop e2, I don't know theory, but after cd4, doesn't knight d4 look very natural to you? Or is this wrong?
No, not at all. He was the leader and we didn't pay any attention to it. And it seems to us that Hare Krishna did play a model game. I mean, judging by the final position, he got everything that you could ever wish for from this French structure.
This looks like my bullet games on the internet. No, you play some French or Caro-Kann structure against your 1800 opponent and you hope they don't mate you, and then you win on the queen side like this. This is how blitz games end when they go well. We haven't seen Fabi yet, or not much at least. So let's go back there.
Yeah, and here was my question, that why is Fabi thinking? Isn't this some kind of a main Tavia, or did he play bishop b7? Because he did play the move bishop b7. Yeah, this is maybe the reason why they are mixing things up.
This is fashion. Grishuk started doing this, and wasn't this game Grishuk Fabi, didn't they play it in the candidates already? Like bishop b7 is a big new line. Everyone used to castle here and tons of theory, but bishop b7 has been a big trend. So I don't think Fabi's
yeah, the Fabi game, Hari Fabi. What do we have here? I mean, it looks like a very, very nice Spanish for black, yeah?
Fabi's fine, yeah. This is this typical structure where after changing everything on d4, your pieces are this active. You start looking for advantage here because you know you equalize already. White can't really bring his knight to g3 without losing the e4 pawn, so you start looking for chances here. Fabi's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also feel like this was always our dream in the anti-marshals, that you remember there was this d3 c3 line when the black bishop goes to e6, then we trade something on d4 and we have the chance of going bishop c8, bishop b7, and we are so happy with the black pieces.
Also seeing Fabi's position, and I have to say it looks fabulous.
Exactly. You know, that's exactly the word that came to my mind when you told. I looked at the position and you said Fabi's position, it's fabulous, yeah, because we talked about this with Jan, that something horribly went wrong from Harry's side. I mean, it simply felt like, Black can only be better. It's not entirely clear how he's going to be better, but it's just a very, very nice, typical kind of Ruy Lopez. And yeah, Fabi went for this knight h5 plan. Definitely is a very, very tempting option. But I mean, real credits to Hari. I mean, this is again this feeling that we have been talking about. Whenever we talk about Hari, he has this feeling also for harmony and how he puts everything together. Yeah.
Peter, we have some other very gripping endgames. Like in the game, Hari Krishna versus Fabiano. And I want to ask you, what are your first thoughts when you see this position? Who is better? Who is trying to win this game? And just your first instinctive feel about this.
My feeling is that after all, Black is still the one who is trying. That's my very first guess. But when I look a little closer and I see that these pawns are advancing, then I might also see that, okay, first of all, Black can always give up his bishop for these 2 pawns and be ready to play 3 versus 2 on the king side, because this is dead low.